and I'm going to make this in-depth anxiety video. This is going to be the most in-depth anxiety video I think I could ever live stream on this platform, and the most talked about anxiety in-depth video that I could possibly do on this platform of YouTube.com. So I'm going to go into depth and details about everything that has to do with the American system, Canadian and Mexican ER rooms compare in comparison. I'm also going to talk about anxiety, and I'm also going to talk about if you guys feel something, say something, and if you feel that your physician is mistreating you, you need to report it immediately, and I mean immediately. So here we go. Um, I have been suffering from anxiety for about 18 years now, going on 19 years. I've been having panic attacks since I was a teenager or just before teenaging. I've been having a lot of stress reactions over the last couple of years, especially due to 2020. I've been having a lot of stress over financial issues. Obviously, a lot of people have a lot of issues with stress and financial. It comes in play. I'm having a lot of medical problems now. I'm starting to develop medical problems, and some of them are very scary, and it is hindering my life. It is making me. It's not a good feeling physiologically. I'm starting to develop a lot of gastrointestinal issues. Even though I stopped, doing a lot of like soda, bad foods, or going out or eating any bad foods like like hamburgers and stuff. I've stopped eating those, but I think the damage has been done on my body, and I can physically feel something is very wrong. But I can't do nothing about it because I don't have any money. So, anyways, besides that, if you guys have anxiety disorder, you need to stop it immediately. But I'm gonna tell you some stories about my ER experiences. So I hope in the future that this will help people that are like me that suffer from these weird panic attacks. And matter in fact, I want to show you guys something that needs to be addressed on this live stream for the rest of YouTube's sake. You know how I have been made fun of in the past due to anxiety disorder? I want to show you something that even in the discharge papers that I have here, I want to show you something. And this is in the discharge papers here. You may have stress from home, family, work, or social relationships. Anxiety tends to run in families. This may mean it's linked to genetics or genes. It may mean that this behavior is learned at home. So, in this pamphlet, they are literally saying that it entirely runs, you may have stress from home, work, family, work, or social relationships, and it may run in family. Anxiety tends to run in family, meaning that unfortunately for some of us, anxiety is to the end of our lives physiologically. When I read that, I wasn't really paying attention. I don't usually pay attention to discharge papers too much. But when I read that, I was like, well, finally they put some truth into the discharge papers for us here in the United States. Anxiety does run in families. It is a progressive, well, it's kind of a progressive disease, a mental disease. It doesn't go away. It's kind of like uh, I don't know, mental cancer. I guess you could say it doesn't go away. It comes and goes, comes and goes, comes and goes, but never goes away. This is the reason why some people are put on narcotics for the rest of their lives because unfortunately they had a bad deal with genetics, and because my mom had anxiety and my grandpa had anxiety and my grandma had anxiety. This is the crap that I have to go through, and they also had a lot of medical problems. So I'm starting to develop their medical problems now because of my lifestyle has been very sedentary, and I don't know if anything as good is going to come out of this, or if I'm going to end up um, a statistic. It doesn't really matter at this point. I've tried to get better, but My body won't let me, and then based off my family history, I don't think I'll make it to 50. To be honest with you, I want to make it to 50, but I don't think I will, based on my family's history of them all mysteriously just having all these medical problems. It's very bizarre, bad genes, etc. So I might have been dealt a bad blow on that part. But anyways, the point of making is, if you have an anxiety disorder, you have to keep your blood pressure calm. You have to keep your pulse calm. You have to keep your mind calm as much as possible. You can't stress out. You can't be worrying all the time, because if you're young, your body can take it for a while, but it cannot take it forever. If you want to remain relatively healthy, you have to pick a better lifestyle than I had. You need to eat a lot healthier, or if not even eating healthier, exercising and eating healthier would have been your best bet. It will not stop the anxiety. It will keep you alive longer, unless you just don't want to eat healthy or whatnot. But at the end of the day, I've been suffering from this for so many years. It's taken a toll on my body. My blood pressure in the emergency room yesterday was 178 over 116. I mean, this is not good, guys. I mean, and it's weird because my blood pressure just like not too long ago was like 110 over 85, just or 110 over 82, and just weird blood pressure spikes. Everything I eat bothers me. I can't have normal bowel movements anymore, guys. The anxiety, the depression of anxiety, it's taken a toll over the years, because I used to have a lot of depression when I was younger. As I got older, the depression kind of went away, but the anxiety got worse, and it just got worse and worse by the year. And every year, it's been slowly getting worse. It's physiological. It's physiological in nature, but it's stemmed from some sort of psychological or psychological, I guess, beginnings. Adenosine is released all the time. Stress hormones are constantly released. It's not good on your heart long term. It's not good on your body long term. If you are listening to this at any point in the future, don't let your body keep doing this to you. If you have to take narcotics, take narcotics. Legal narcotics, of course. If you have to get therapy or whatever, do whatever you have to do to stop the anxiety while you can. If you let this anxiety go on for so many years and you have a predisposition to health problems, you could develop those health problems earlier in life than later in life. So I hope to everybody here that is listening to this, you will get help if you have anxiety. And unfortunately, it's taken its toll on me now. And I mean, I've had some tests here that not it's not showing good. I'm having medical issues now where I might need a prescription soon for those medical problems, which I've never had before. And it's a pretty big one, I'll tell you that. It's not good. Am I worried about it? Yeah. Am I miserable physiologically? Yeah. I don't go out in my car much anymore. I don't go out and do things anymore because I feel so sick. Um, the anxiety, the panic attacks at night, waking up to having a high heart rate, going to emergency rooms just to have mean things told about me in the physician notes over the years. I mean, I've read all the physician notes over the last 10 years. The things that they have said about me is so despicable. The things that they have said about other patients, I'm pretty sure has been despicable. They treat people like just assholes. I mean, we're talking Ohio, we're talking about New Jersey's patients, we're talking about Texas, we're talking about Florida. I cannot believe the stigma against people like me and anybody that's on my YouTube channel that suffers from anxiety. In certain countries, they do treat people with anxiety a lot better, and they do give prescription medication that helps them a lot better, and a little bit less without question than in the United States of a nanny state. In Mexico, I'm going to give you guys a story that I haven't told anybody because I didn't want nobody to know this, but because I don't know what's guaranteed in the future of tomorrow, I'm going to go ahead and say what happened to me. I was in a moderate-sized city in Mexico, central Mexico. We're talking, oh Lord, we're talking like 700 miles from the border of Texas. We're talking out in the middle of nowhere, Mexico. We're talking Like you wouldn't even go to that city if you didn't. You wouldn't even know about that city in Mexico if you didn't look it up on a map. I started having a panic attack in my hotel room. The hotel room was only like $25 a day at the time, American dollars. It was very cheap, and it came with a nice shower. It was clean. The beds were clean. Everything was clean. I had a black light. Everything was clean. I was shocked, and it had good reviews. And there was no a crime. They closed the gates. You have to have like a key code or something like that to get in the gate. But okay. Anyways, so I started having a panic attack at around what was it? Maybe like 8 p.m. In the evening. I started having a really massive panic attack, and I thought I was gonna die because, well, it felt like I was physically dying, especially with the chest pressure and just the high heart rate, the high blood pressure. And I thought I was just, that's it. That was it at that point in time in my life. I thought I was going to die in Mexico, and that would have been very weird because my family would have never heard from me for the most part. I'm sure the policia, federal policia, would have said something to uh, America, based off my license plate and stuff eventually, but I don't know. So I go to their hospital, and there was nobody in the emergency room in Mexico at the time. There was nobody there, and I went in and I said, I think I'm having. I tried translating it on my phone, heart disease or heart attack of the heart or something like that, and it translated into Spanish. So they were like, "Oh no." So in broken English, they told me to come back. By the way, the visit was only $35. They only charged me $35 specifically, even after doing an EKG on me and a CT scan. They did a CT scan, they did an EKG, they did a chest X-ray, and they drew blood. All that for like $35 at a time. They didn't charge me any more than that. Maybe I think they felt bad for me because of my situation of just coming in there, and they were like, "Oh Lord, look how fat they are! Corazon is rapido, rapido, rapido." And then the doctor went on the PA system and said the nurses to come to this room because they were worried that I was actually having a medical emergency at the time. So they picked me really quickly. I don't know how, but the phlebotomist there was really good. Drew my blood. Um, they did everything quickly, and they put an IV in me. And yeah, they did the same thing like they do in the United States, where they alcohol the area first. They use rubbing alcohol, quickly putting an IV in me, pushing IV fluids. They got a bag of sodium. Well, they only charged me, like I said, they only charged me $35, so I don't. But anyways, it was the same kind of sodium that you would find in American hospitals. Same brand, same sodium. It was just in Spanish. So they were giving me IV fluids. They took the air out the lines. They put it in my line. They started feeding me with that. And she says, I want you to take this aspirin, put it under your tongue. It's baby aspirin. It's like 80 milligrams. I don't know. They said tabletas. Take two tabletas under your tongue. And I was like, okay. So they gave me two little baby aspirins. They were worried that something major was happening, but the EKG said no. And they did their blood work, and they're like, your potassium, a little low. Here's a potassium pill. Um, Other than that, everything else was fine. Chest X-ray was normal. They didn't charge me for that. I don't know if they felt bad for me or what the hell was going on. But it was the cheapest visit I've ever been to in any ER room. They said the chest X-ray was fine. The blood work was fine. Just a little elevation or a little bit low on potassium. Just dumb stuff, man. And then all of a sudden, the doctor came in and said, "Do you take medication? Do you take medication for anxiety?" And I told him, "Yeah, I take this medication." And the doctor's like, "Oh, Lozan. Okay, all right. So I'm going to give you injection through IV." And so they came in with a vial and it said, well, it said the medication that I was taking. They gave me 2 milligrams of it, um, and they started injecting me with it. And it was the same. Surprisingly, I was shocked, but it was the same brand as they use in American ER rooms, but it's just in Spanish. And they injected with me and calmed me down, and I was discharged within like an hour afterwards. And the lady says, "You only have to pay 35, the U.S. would take cash." I was like, "Okay." So, $35, and I did not. I thought I didn't die that night, and from the anxiety attack. I don't even know how I had an anxiety attack because I was doing so well. But unfortunately, with this disorder, you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know when it's going to happen, and you don't know how it's going to happen. So I'm making this live stream because I need to make people aware, um, that if you have it, you need to stop it immediately. I've been telling people this now for about a month. If you have it, you need to stop it, and you need to get it treated. If you have to take medication to do it, do it. I don't care. You have to take it. You need to keep your pulse and your blood pressure under control for through all of this drama of these weird attacks that happen for literal no reason. In the emergency room last night, once again, I had a very high heart rate, a very high pulse rate. We're talking 140, 150, 160. It was elevating. And they were getting extremely concerned because of my blood pressure and then the high pulse rate. A doctor comes in. Doctor says, "Holy crap." I mean, literally, holy crap. Says, "Yeah, we're gonna start an IV on you, and then we're gonna get you treated." They had a hard time finding my IVs because my blood pressure and pulse was so fast, and they also said that I was somehow dehydrated in my urine and blood work, and it just, how am I being dehydrated? I'm drinking water all day. I'm drinking electrolytes. I don't understand. So they got the line, they drew the blood, they took the urine, and then they injected me immediately with the medication, and they injected me with a high dose of the medication. They gave me a high dose of the medication immediately. Like they didn't even hesitate at that point. And once again, I'm crying in the hospital bed. I'm crying in the hospital bed because I'm tired of suffering through this disorder. Like I'm physiologically exhausted from having my adrenaline all the time on and at a high rate. I'm looking at the medical equipment behind the bed because you know how they have these fast act, these fast things in case someone stops breathing or goes into an arrest. And you know where the code blue things are on the back of the beds in the ER rooms? I was just looking at the equipment and started crying because I'm like, why does this keep happening to me? I've been going through this now, this torture for almost 20 years straight. Every year it's something else, or it's this, or it's that. But for 20 years straight, I mean, this is at the point getting ridiculous that my own body and mind torture me. It literally tortures me every single day. It is a physiological. I cannot explain it to anybody that doesn't have this disorder. It is a physiological torturement. It is torturing. It is ugly. It is nasty disease, whatever this is. So they do an EKG. They pull blood work. They're like, "Oh, your liver enzymes are a little bit elevated." But nothing that is warning concerning. Um, but then they said that there was another issue that I will not talk about here on YouTube, which I've never had before, and now I'm having, and that is absolutely concerning because that could, I guess, theoretically mean I have something really bad happening. But I won't speak about it here on YouTube.com. But they immediately injected me with the medication to calm me down. They gave me some Benadryl. They gave me some Ativan, I don't know. I didn't even ask for anything. I just said, "Can you stop my pulse from flying?" And the doctor looked at me. The nurse came in, injected me with 10 milligrams of Benadryl. I told them not to do 25. They wanted to do 25. I said, "No way, Jose," because 25 is just a really high dose of Benadryl for me. I don't like that stuff. I don't like the way it makes me feel. And then they came in with a high dose of the anti seizure medication just because of the simple fact that my pulse and blood pressure was too high, and they wanted to get it down so I don't end up stroking out or something, because that's, my blood pressure technically hypertensive crisis to hypertensive emergency. So they wanted to get that down as quickly as possible. So they threw it through the IV again to calm me down. And the doctor came in about 20 minutes later and said, "I am so glad to see that it came down. I don't know what's going on with you. You've had a long history here. I don't know why your body keeps doing this to you. I mean, you're not drinking a lot of caffeine." I said, "No." He says, "Well, you don't seem to have heart disease, but this is just really bizarre. I've looked at all your past admissions and your past emergency room visits, and I'm like, how do you keep having these attacks of high blood pressure and attacks of high heart rates? Is nothing working for you?" And I said, "No." What about antidepressants? I said, "No." Antipsychotics? I said, "No." And he said, "Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. Those antipsychotics, antidepressants, they don't really work on a lot of the patients that come in here into this hospital. The only thing that really works on people to get them to calm down immediately are benzodiazepines, or sometimes we'll give them Vistral, and sometimes we'll give them Benadryl, and that seems to work good on them. But it depends on the patient. Now, if they've been taking benzodiazepines, and we can see that they have a history of it through the medication monitoring systems that they have here, then we'll give them that because we want them to calm down. We don't like to discharge patients that are having an elevated heart rate or that have any other issues, and we don't feel comfortable discharging them until we see that their vital signs have come down to below 99 beats per minute, and blood pressure below one was, I think that he said 160 on the top and like 115 on the bottom. If it get below that, then we'll discharge the patients. I've learned so much going to the ER rooms. I'm not proud of it, but I have learned a lot through the ER rooms. I've seen people faint. I've seen people have cardiac arrest, and that was the most terrible. Just to see somebody just collapse, turn blue immediately, and just the scariest feeling ever. Um, and that's what a fear of mine is. I just keep fearing that's going to happen to me at any moment. And I'm not ready to go. I don't want to, I don't want to go to wherever we go next after we pass away. And I get scared and I get teary eyed because I don't want to go. Like, bro, like, I want to live on the earth for a little while, see things. And the doctor came and patted me on the shoulder and just said, "Hey, chill out. Um, I'm hoping these medications are working on you. Do you still feel the same as you did when you first came in?" I said, "No." "Do you feel calm now?" I said, "Yes, very calm." So you're having breakthrough anxiety. Um, you're having anxiety on top of your anxiety. I don't know why your case is so severe. And they did a chest X-ray, and the chest X-ray was normal. And just annoying, because it really does feel like you're having a medical emergency, especially when you get, arm pain, you get chest pains, and you have all these symptoms, and it just disappears when you get these medications put in your body. They just disappear out of nowhere. Like, it doesn't even make any sense. How was that even possible? And the blood pressure goes down, your pulse rate goes down, and then you start feeling normal again, and then you're just like, "Ooh." You get that big relief when you get these medications with the Benadryl and a combination with I guess the Ativan, and some people take Xanax in the emergency rooms, especially if they're having a real bad case of anxiety. Some people do good on Vistral, some people do good on Benadryl, some people don't need nothing and they can calm down and they're fine and they leave. But That doesn't happen with people like me. So my conclusion to this is, if you have an anxiety disorder, you need to stop the anxiety disorder, curb it as much as possible, and get treatment for it as much as possible. And then find out what works for you, whether it be psychological therapy, whether it be medications, or both. But y'all need to get help, and y'all need to get it quick, because it takes a toll on your body after so many years, especially this consistent. I don't like going to emergency rooms. I don't like going to them. I don't want to be there. That place is for emergencies. And unfortunately, with anxiety, it literally feels like emergencies. It really does. And it's so scary because, you know, when somebody's driving you to the emergency room, it actually feels like you're going to pass out. When you stand up and you're about to go into the emergency, it feels like you're going to pass out. And then your heart rate flying while you're waiting in the waiting room. And then they check you on the vitals to triage you to see if you're in that kind of state. And then they see that you're in that state. They get really concerned. It's just a lot of drama. But guys, I will let you go. Thank you guys for watching.